This is The Poem of the Man God by Maria Valtorta, Volume 4, Episode 501, entitled The Wife of the Saduccean Necromancer. It was written the 3rd of October, 1944. Jesus is still traveling tirelessly around Palestine. The river is still on his right-hand side, and he is proceeding in the same direction as the beautiful blue water, which shines where it is kissed by the sun, and is green-blue near the banks, where the shade of the trees is reflected with its deep green hues. Jesus is in the middle of his disciples. I hear Bartholomew ask him, "Are we really going to Jericho? Are you not afraid of an ambush?" "No, I am not. I arrived in Jerusalem for Passover along a different road, and they are disappointed, as they do not know where to get hold of me without attracting the attention of the crowds too much. Believe me, Bartholomew, there is less danger for me in a thickly populated town than along remote paths. The crowds are good and sincere, but they are also impulsive, and they would rebel if I were captured, when I am among them to evangelize and cure people. Snakes work in solitude and darkness, and then I still have many days to work. The hour of the demon will come, and you will lose me, but you will find me later. Believe that, and remember to believe it when events will really seem to be giving me the lie." The apostles sigh worriedly and look at him lovingly and pitifully, and John utters a groan, "No," while Peter embraces him with his short, strong arms, as if to defend him, saying, "O my Lord and Master." He does not say anything else, but those few words are so meaningful. "It is so, my dear friends. That is why I came. Be strong. You can see how I proceed unhesitatingly towards my goal, like one who goes towards the sun, smiling at it and being kissed by it. My sacrifice will be a sun for the world. The light of grace will descend into hearts. The peace of God will then make them productive. The merits of my martyrdom will make men capable of earning heaven. And what do I want but that? To put your hands into the hands of the Eternal, your Father, and mine, and say, 'Here, I have brought these children back to you. Look, Father, they are pure. They can come back to you. And see you clasped in his bosom and say, Love one another at last, because the one and the others are anxious for that, and you suffered bitterly for not having been able to love one another.' That is my joy. And every day that brings me closer to the fulfillment of that return, of that forgiveness, of that union, increases my anxiety to consummate the Holocaust, to give you God and his kingdom." Jesus is solemn, almost ecstatic while saying so. He is walking upright in his blue tunic and dark mantle, bareheaded in this cool hour of the morning, and he seems to be smiling at I wonder which vision, which his eyes can see against the clear blue sky. The sun that kisses his left cheek makes his eyes shine even more brightly, and causes his golden hair to sparkle as it is moved by a light breeze, and by his step. It stresses the red of his lips open to a smile, and seems to inflame all his face with a joy which actually comes from the inside of his adorable heart, burning with love for us. "Master, may I say a word to you?" asks Thomas. "Which? The other day you said that the Redeemer, you, will have a traitor. How can a man betray you, the Son of God?" A man, in fact, would not be able to betray the Son of God, God like his Father, but it will not be a man. It will be a demon in the body of a man, the most possessed, the most obsessed man. Mary of Magdala had 7 demons, and the demoniac of a few days ago was dominated by Beelzebub. But in my traitor there will be Beelzebub and all his demoniac court. Oh, hell will really be in that heart, to give him the boldness to sell the Son of God to his enemies, just as a lamb is sold to the butcher. "Master, is that man already possessed by Satan now?" "No, Judas, but he is leaning towards Satan, and to lean towards Satan means putting oneself in the condition of falling into him." Jesus is speaking to the Iscariot. "And why does he not come to you to be cured of his inclination? Does he not know he has such inclination, or does he know he has such inclination, or does he not know? If he did not know, he would not be guilty, whereas he is, because he knows that he tends to evil, and that he does not persist in his decision to emerge from it. If he persisted, he would come to me, but he does not come. Poison penetrates, and my closeness does not cleanse him, because he does not want it. He avoids it. Your error, O men. You fly from me when you need me most." Jesus has replied to Andrew. "But has he never come to you? Do you know him? And do we know him? Matthew, I know men even before they know me, and you know that And you know that, and your companions know. I called you because I knew you. But do we know him? Asks Matthew, insisting. And is it possible for you not to know those who come to your master? You are my friends and share food, rest, and fatigue with me. I have even opened my house to you, the house of my holy mother. I take you there so that the air one breathes in it may make you capable of understanding heaven with its voices and orders. I take you to it as a doctor takes his patients, as soon as they recover from a series of diseases, to healthy springs which may fortify them, overcoming the remains of the diseases which may become harmful again. So you know everything coming to me. You know everyone coming to me. In which town did you meet him? Peter. It's true, Master, I am worse than a gossipy woman. Forgive me, but it is love. You know. Yes, I know, and that is why I tell you that your fault does not disgust me, but get rid of it. Yes, my lord. The path narrows, limited by a row of trees and a small ditch, and the group stretches out lengthwise. Jesus is speaking to the Iscariot, to whom he gives instructions for expenses and alms. All the others are behind, in twos. In the rear there is Peter, all alone. He is thoughtful. He is walking with his head bowed, so engrossed in thought that he does not realize that he is being outdistanced by the others. Hey, you! Man, a man on horseback shouts to him. Are you with the Nazarene? Yes, why? Are you going to Jericho? Are you anxious to know? I don't know. I follow the Master and I don't ask questions. Wherever he goes, all is well done. The road is the Jericho one, but he might go back to the Decapolis. Who knows? If you want more information, the Master is over there. The man spurs his horse, and Peter makes a strange grimace behind his back and mumbles, I don't trust you, my handsome man. You're a lot of dogs, all of you. I don't want to be the traitor. I swear to myself, this mouth of mine shall be sealed. There you are, and he makes a sign on his lips as if he were locking them. The man on horseback has joined Jesus. He is speaking to him, and that gives Peter the opportunity to join the others. When the man departs, he waves his hand to the Iscariot. Nobody notices except Peter, who is at the rear of the group, and he does not appear to be approving of the greeting. He takes Judas by the sleeve and asks him, Who is he? Do you know him? How come? By sight. He is a rich man of Jerusalem. You have friends in the upper classes. Well, providing it is all right. Tell me, is he the fox-faced man who tells you so many things? Which things? Well, the ones you say you know about the Master. Me? Yes, you. Don't you remember that stormy evening at this time of the spate? Ah! No, but you're still thinking of a word spoken in a moment of ill humor? I think of everything that may hurt Jesus. Things, people, friends, enemies. And I am always ready to keep the promises I make to whoever wants to harm Jesus. Goodbye. Judas looks at him in a strange way while he goes away. There is amazement, sorrow, anger, and I would say something else. Hatred. Peter joins Jesus and calls him. Oh, Peter, come. Jesus lays his arm on Peter's shoulder. Who was that hispid Judean? Hispid, Peter? He was smooth and scented. He had a hispid conscience. Don't trust him, Jesus. I told you that my time has not yet come, and when it comes, no mistrust will save me. If I wanted to be saved, stones also would shout and would form a chain if I wanted to save myself. It may be, but don't trust. Master? Peter, what is the matter? Master, I have something to tell you, and a burden in my heart. A thing? A burden? Yes, the burden is a sin. The thing, an advice. Start from the sin. Master, I hate. I am disgusted. Yes, if I do not hate because you do not want us to hate, I am disgusted at one of us. I seem to be near a den from which the stench of snakes and heat comes out, and I would not like any of them to come out to injure you. That man is a mass of snakes, and he himself is in heat with the demon. How do you infer that? Well, I don't know. I am coarse and ignorant, but I am not stupid. I am accustomed to reading winds and clouds, and now I have eyes to read also hearts. Jesus, I am afraid. Do not judge, Peter, and do not suspect. Suspicion creates chimeras, and one sees what is not there. May eternal God grant me that there is nothing, but I am not sure. Who is it, Peter? Judas of Kerioth. He boasts of having important friends, and even a short time ago that ugly face greeted him as one greets a well-known person. He did not have such friends previously. Judas is the one who receives and hands out money. He has the opportunity to approach rich people. He is clever. Yes, he is clever. Master, tell me the truth. Do you not suspect? Peter, you are so dear to me because of your heart, but I want you to be perfect. Who does not obey is not perfect. I said to you, do not judge, and do not suspect. But you are not telling me. We shall soon be near Jericho, and we shall stop to wait for a woman who cannot receive us in her house. Why, is she a sinner? No, she is a poor wretch. The man on horseback who worried you so much came to tell me to wait for her. And I will wait for her, although I can do nothing for her. And do you know who put her and the horsemen on my tracks? Judas. You can see that his acquaintance with that Judean is an honest one. Peter lowers his head and becomes silent and embarrassed. Perhaps he is not yet convinced and is still curious, but he is silent. Jesus stops outside the town walls, and tired as he is, he sits down in the shadow of a group of trees, which gives shade to a fountain, near which there are quadrupeds watering. The disciples also sit down waiting. It cannot be an important district of the town, because apart from these horses and donkeys, obviously of traveling merchants, there are no people. A woman comes forward, all enveloped in a large dark mantle, and with her face well covered. Her thick dark veil conceals half her face. The horsemen seen previously, but now on foot, and 3 men, sumptuously dressed, are with her. We greet you, Master. Peace be with you. This is the woman. Listen to her, and satisfy her request, if I can. You can do everything. Do you, a Sadducee, think so? The Sadducee is the horseman. I believe in what I see. And have you seen that I can? Yes, I have. And do you know why I can? There is silence. May I know why you think that I can? There is silence. Jesus no longer minds him or the others. He speaks to the woman. What do you want? Master, Master, speak without fear. The woman looks askance at her companions, who interpret her glance their way. The woman's husband is ill, and she asks to cure him. She asks you to cure him. He is an influential person at Herod's court. You had better satisfy her. I will satisfy her if I can, not because he is influential, but because she is unhappy. I have already said so. What is the matter with your husband? Why did he not come? And why do you not want me to go to him? Further silence, and further looks askance. Do you wish to speak to me without witnesses? Come. They move a few steps aside. Speak. Master, I believe in you. I believe so much that I am sure that you know everything about him, me, and our wretched lives. But he does not believe. But he hates you. But he cannot be cured, because he has no faith. Not only he has no faith in me, but not even in the true God. Ah, you are aware. The woman is weeping desperately. My house is a hell, a hell. You free possessed people, so you know what the demon is. But do you know this subtle, intelligent, false, and learned demon? Do you know to what perversion he leads one? To what sins? Do you know the ruin he causes around himself? My house? Is it a house? No, it is the threshold of hell. My husband? Is he my husband? He is now ill and does not bother about me, but also when he was strong and eager for love. Was it a man that embraced me, held me, and had me? No, I was in the coils of a demon. I smelt the breath and felt the viscid body of a demon. I loved him so much, and I love him. I am his wife, and he took my virginity when I was little more than a girl. I was only 14 years old, but also when I remembered that first hour, and with it I recollected the unsullied sensations of the first embrace that made me a woman. I, at first with the nobler part of myself, then with my flesh and blood, I reacted with horror, remembering that he is a filthy necromancer. I had the impression that not my man, but the dead people he evoked were on me to satisfy themselves. And even now, when I look at him, dying, and still immersed in that magic, I am horrified. I do not see him. I see Satan. Oh, how grievous it is. Not even in death I shall be with him, because the law forbids it. Save him, Master. I ask you to cure him, to give him time to recover. The woman is weeping distressingly. Poor woman. I cannot cure him. Why, Lord? Because he does not want it. Yes, he is afraid of death. Of course he wants. He does not want. He is not insane. He is not a man possessed, unaware of his state, who does not ask to be freed because he cannot think freely. He is not a man with inhibited will. He is one who wants to be what he is. He knows that what he does is forbidden. He is aware that he is cursed by the God of Israel, but he persists. Even if I cured him, and I would begin from his soul, he would revert to his satanic enjoyment. His will is corrupted. He is a rebel. I cannot. The woman weeps more loudly. The men who brought her come near. Are you not satisfying her, Master? I cannot. Didn't I tell you? Why? You, a Sadducee, are asking me why? I refer you to the book of Kings. Read what Samuel said to Saul, and what Elijah said to Ahaziah. The spirit of the prophet reproaches the king for disturbing him by evoking him from the reign of the dead. It is forbidden to do it. Read Leviticus if you no longer remember the word of God, Creator and Lord for everything that exists, the guardian of life and of the dead. The dead and the living are in the hands of God, and you are not allowed to snatch them from there through vain curiosity or sacrilegious violence or cursed incredulity. What do you want to know? Whether there is an eternal future, and you say that you believe in God. If God exists, he will certainly have a court. And what court will it be but an eternal one, like himself, consisting of eternal spirits? If you say that you believe in God, why do you not believe in his word? Does his word not say, you shall not practice divination, you shall not observe dreams? Does it not say, if a man has recourse to magicians and diviners, and will fornicate with them, I shall set my face against that man, and outlaw him from his people? Does it not say, do not cast gods of metal? And what are you, Samaritans and lost people, or are you children of Israel? And what are you, fools or men capable of reasoning? And if by reasoning you deny the immortality of souls, why do you evoke the dead? If the incorporeal parts that animate man are not immortal, what remains of man after death? Rottenness and bones, dry bones, emerging from a wriggling mass of worms. And if you do not believe in God, and you have recourse to idols and signs to be cured and obtain money, responses as this man did, whose health you are asking to be restored, why do you cast gods and believe that they can tell you words which are more truthful, holier, and more divine than the words God speaks to you? I will now give you the same reply that Elijah gave Ahaziah. Since you sent messengers to consult Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, as if there were no God in Israel to be consulted, the bed you have got into you will not get out of, and you are certainly going to die in your sin. You are always the one who insults and attacks us. I am pointing it out to you. We come to you to lure me into a trap. But I read your hearts. Masks off, you Herodians, sold to the enemy of Israel. Masks off, you false, cruel Pharisees. Masks off, you Sadducees, true Samaritans. Masks off, you scribes, whose words contrast with facts. Masks off, all of you, transgressors of the law of God, enemies of the truth, concubines of evil. Down with you, desecrators of the house of God. Down with you, instigators of weak consciences. Down with you, jackals who scent the victim in the wind that has blown past it, and who follow that track and lie in wait, awaiting the right moment to kill, and you lick your lips foretasting the savor of blood and dreaming of that moment. O swindlers and fornicators who sell for less than a handful of lentils your primogeniture among people and are no longer blessed, because other people will wear the fleece of the Lamb of God. And true Christ will appear to the eyes of the Most High, who, smelling the fragrance of his Christ emanate from them, will say, here is the scent of my Son, like the scent of a flowery field blessed by God. Upon you the dew of heaven, grace. In you the opulence of the earth, the fruit of my blood. In you abundance of wheat and wine, my body and my blood. That I will give for the lives of men, and in remembrance of me. Let peoples serve you. Let nations bow to you, because there is the sign of my Lamb. There is heaven, and the earth is subject to heaven. Be the masters of your brothers, because the followers of my Christ will be the kings of the Spirit, as they will possess the light, to which light the others will turn their eyes, hoping in its help. Let the children of your mother, the earth, bow to you. Yes, all the children of the earth will stoop one day to my sign. Cursed be he who curses you, and blessed who blesses you, because blessings and maledictions given to you come to me, your Father and God. That is what he will say, O fornicators, who fornicate with Satan and his false doctrines, whilst you could have the true faith, as the beloved spouse of your souls. That is what he will say, O murderers, murderers of consciences, and murderers of bodies. Here are some of your victims. But if 2 hearts have been murdered, there is a body that will be in your possession only for the time of Jonah. Then, joined to its immortal essence, it will judge you. Jesus is terrible in this severe reproof. Terrible. I think that he will be more or less like that on doomsday. And where are those murdered people? You are talking nonsense. You are a concubine of Beelzebub. You fornicate with him and work miracles in his name. You cannot work one in our case, because we are friends of God. Satan does not drive himself out. I expel demons, so in whose name do I do it? Silence. Answer my question. It is not worthwhile bothering with this demoniac. I warned you. You did not believe me. Let him tell you. Answer, you mad Nazarene. Do you know the Simon Florask? I do not need it. Did you hear that? Another question. Have you been to Egypt? Yes, I have. See? Who is the necromancer, the demon? How horrible. Come, woman, your husband is a saint as compared to him. Come, you will have to be purified. You have touched Satan. And they go away, dragging the woman who is weeping with clear gestures of aversion. Jesus, with his folded arms, watches them with flashing eyes. Master, Master, the apostles are terrorized both by Jesus' vehemence and by the Judeans' words. Peter asks, and he even bends down while speaking, what did they mean with those last questions? What is that thing? What the Simon Florask? And there's a footnote here saying, this word, which is probably spelt incorrectly, is unknown even to experts who have been consulted on the matter. From its context, it would appear to be an expression used for incantations by people practicing magic. Yes, what is it? Forget about it. They are mixing the truth with falsehood, God with Satan, and in their satanic pride they think that God, to yield to the wishes of men, has to be implored by means of his tetragrammaton. The Son speaks the true language with his Father, and by means of it, through the reciprocal love of Father and Son, miracles are performed. But why did he ask you whether you have been to Egypt? Because evil makes use of the most harmless things to make charges against those it wants to strike. My stay when a child in Egypt will be among the counts of indictment in their hour of revenge. You and those who come after you must know that with shrewd Satan and his faithful servants, double astuteness is required. That is why I said, be as cunning as snakes, besides being as simple as doves, so as to put only the minimum of weapons in the hands of the demons. And even so, it is of no avail. Let us go. Where, Master? To Jericho? No, we shall take a boat and go back to the Decapolis again. We shall go up to the Jordan as far as Enon, and then we shall land. On the shores of Gennesaret, we shall take another boat and sail to Tiberias, and thence to Cana, and Nazareth. I am in need of my mother, and you need her too. What the Christ does not do with his word, Mary does with her silence. What my power does not do, her purity does. Oh, my mother. Are you weeping, Master? Are you weeping? Oh, no, we will defend you. We love you. I am not weeping, and I am not afraid because of those who hate me. I am weeping because hearts are harder than jasper, and I can do nothing for any of them. Come, my friends. They go down to the bank, and they go up the river in a boat. It all ends thus. Jesus says, you and he who guides you ought to meditate for a long time on my reply to Peter. People of this world, not exclusively laymen, deny the supernatural. Then, in the presence of manifestations of God, they are ready to call into question not the supernatural, but the occult. They mix up one thing with another. Now listen, supernatural is what comes from God. Occult is what comes from an extraterrestrial source, but has no root in God. I solemnly tell you that spirits can come to you. How? In two ways, by God's command or by man's violence. Angels and blessed souls and spirits that are already in the light of God come by God's command. By man's violence, those spirits can come over whom also a man has control, as they are immersed in regions lower than the human ones, in which there is still a remembrance of grace, although it is not active grace. The former come spontaneously, obeying one order only, mine, and they bring the truth that I want you to know. The latter come through a complex of joined powers, the power of an idolatrous man joined to the powers of Satan idol. Can they give you the truth? No, never. Absolutely never. Can a formula, even if taught by Satan, bend God to man's will? No. God always comes spontaneously. A prayer can join you to him, not a magic formula. And if someone should object, saying, Samuel appeared to Saul, I say, not by deed of the sorceress, but by my will, in order to rouse the king, rebellious to my law. Some people may say, and what about the prophets? The prophets speak through knowledge of the truth, which is infused into them, directly or through angelic ministry. Others may object, and what about the writing hand at Belshazzar's banquet? Let those read Daniel's reply. You also have defied the Lord of heaven, praising gods of silver, bronze, iron, gold, wood, stone, which cannot either see, hear, or understand. But you have not given glory to the God who holds your breath and every moment of yours in his hands. That is why he has sent the finger, which was sent spontaneously, while you, a foolish king and a foolish man, were not thinking about it, and were intent on filling your stomach and swelling with pride. The finger of that hand that wrote what is over there. Yes, at times God admonishes you by means of manifestations that you call mediumistic, which in fact are the compassion of a love that wants to save you. But you must not wish to create them yourselves. Those created by you are never sincere. They are never useful. They never bring about any good. Do not become enslaved to what ruins you. Do not say and believe that you are more intelligent than the humble people who submit to the truth which has been deposited for ages in my church, only because you are proud people seeking through disobedience permission for your illicit instincts. Go back and remain in the discipline which is centuries old, from Moses to Christ, from Christ to you, from you to the last day. It is that one and no other one. Is your science really science? No. Science is in me and in my doctrine, and man's wisdom is in obeying me. Curiosity without danger? No. Contagion of which later you suffer the consequences. Do away with Satan if you want to have Christ. I am the good one, but I will not cohabit with the spirit of evil. Either I or he. Make your choice. O my mouthpiece, say this to whom it is to be said. It is the last voice that will go out to them. And you, and he who guides you, must be prudent. Proofs become counter-proofs in the hands of the enemy, and of the enemies of my friends. Be careful. Go with my peace.